Hey guys, my name is Tal and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm giving you some updates regarding the whole stimulus payments and all that information. But first, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope your families are safe. I hope you're safe, and I hope you're following all the measures put in place to maintain social distancing. Um, Today I just want to give you some updates. I made a video regarding the information that was released at that point as to the impact on COVID-19 as it relates to your application. So today your application. So today I'm giving you more information. I want to tell you that every week there's new guidance that's coming out every single week. So it's almost a bit overwhelming, but I know that the agencies are trying to adjust as they see fit. So I want to tell you all the details so that way that you guys are just handling the process correctly. So first and foremost, a lot of people are asking about the stimulus payments. I responded to a few emails. I also responded to a few comments. So maybe you saw this in the comment section already. But stimulus payments are not being calculated whatsoever. And that guidance was issued both on HUD and tax credit side. So stimulus payment will not be counted as a part of your household income. So whether you are a recipient of that $1,200 or $2,400, however much it may have been for you, it will not be counted in your income. The other payment that will also not be counted is the additional $600 that unemployed applicants are receiving as like a stimulus unemployment payment. So that will not be factored in. So the only portion of your unemployment income that will be counted is the weekly amount. So for example, if the weekly amount you're receiving is $200, that is what they will calculate times 52 representing the numbers of weeks. So it will be your weekly benefit times 52. That will produce your average gross pay. Okay, and one thing to know that if you were unfortunately laid off and they're projecting your unemployment income to make you eligible, to determine your eligibility rather, it will not be the income you earn year to date from your former employer plus the unemployment income. So people always confuse that. So I just want to be clear on this. The income, any information that is not a representation of your projected income will not be counted. So money earned from your former employer is not, even if it's in this 2020 year, it's not a representation of your projected income. And this is as it pertains to W-2 employees. So one of the common errors that people make is thinking that this 12-month period is that calendar year. So it's not like what you made from January 2020 to December 2020. No, that is not how it's calculated. It's calculated 12 months from when you're submitting information, so not the calendar year, if that makes sense. So I want to also give a few different scenarios so you could be clear on what it will be for your exact situation. So if you were unfortunately laid off, and not laid off rather, if you were unfortunately terminated from your employment, then it's solely your unemployment income that will need to qualify you. So if the income bracket that you're applying for example, requires a minimum income of $40,000, your unemployment income would need to meet that minimum requirement and not obviously exceed the maximum, right? So just make sure you're paying note to that. So just do a quick math. The weekly benefit times 52, that will give you the average gross pay. When you look at that, make sure it fits whatever number you get based off your weekly benefit. Make sure it fits within the bracket that you're applying for. If you have additional income, that's great. you could factor that in as well. Um, as it pertains to someone that was laid off, right? If you have, and listen to this clearly, if you have a return to work date, then your unemployment will be, say you have a return to work date, but you're temporarily I can't even say the word. If you're temporarily collecting unemployment, but say for example you're returning to work June 1st, what they will do is calculate the numbers of unemployment payment that you will receive before you resume your employment, and that's how they'll calculate the unemployment portion. And as for your employment portion, they will send the employment verification for your employer, because your employer would need to then advise like what your salary would be, and that is what they will use to calculate your projected income when you resume your employment, since old pay statements will not be a representation of that projected salary. They will take a look at it, but they will need the employment verification just so that employer can project onwards, right? So if you are in a scenario that you were laid off but you do not have a return to work date, then you fall under the same category as being, in order to be eligible, your unemployment income must qualify you, because they are not, if your employer cannot tell the agent when you'll be returning to work, then they can't calculate anything as it pertains to your employment income, because they need a anticipated start date in order to know when they're going to calculate your employment income onwards. I hope that made sense to you guys. But yeah, I think it was pretty clear. So I just want you to understand that. So please, guys, watch this video. Maybe you need to play it back just to get my points. And the other thing that you need to do, I cannot stress this enough, is to read the HCC Marketing Handbook, so you can see this information. Majority of what I tell you guys, it's in the book. Like, all I'm giving is additional tips, but as far as these references, they are in the book. If you're going through this process, the HCC Marketing Handbook should be your best friend. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say is that a few of the rules slightly change. So if you were the appeal timeline changed from 10 days to 5 days, right? It's to 5 business days. So please make sure that you are responding in a timely manner. Another policy that was implemented, and I'm giving you these directives straight, like, you know, this is coming directly from the agency as far as the references. When you apply for affordable housing, there's different methods of how you wish to be contacted. So if you selected to be contacted by mail, at this point, as a result of the pandemic, it doesn't matter. They're going to be contacting you by phone and email. I think it's both phone and email. Let me just make sure. Because since they're now reducing the timeline for the appeal, like sending something in the mail and then telling me I have 5 business days, you know, that's a close call. So right now they are advising the agencies to reach out to the applicants by phone. I'm just looking at the references to make sure it's phone and email. Okay, so yes, if the applicants who requested to be contacted via paper mail rather than email are to be contacted by phone to inform of their rejection and their opportunity to appeal. Okay. Yes. So they're supposed to contact you by phone. So guys, make sure that you're checking voicemails. Make sure you're calling back. And if they tell you, hey, during that phone conversation, they're gonna give you precise information, because you have to technically start, not that you have to, but if you want to appeal, you would be jumping on that to start right away, since you would only have 5 business days. So just make sure you're checking your missed calls, listening your voicemail same day, because you don't want to miss any timeline on this. So that is something that's important. So I want you guys to focus on that. And if say you weren't contacted as yet and they're now reaching out to you, they're now also saying that once the agency reach out, you have 5 days to, let me see if it's, it didn't even say business days. It didn't specify. Typically they specify, but this just say 5 days. Interesting. Yeah, so just make sure you're on it. I'm not sure. Typically they say business days, but they're saying you have 5 days to confirm your interest. So guys, jump on it. Jump on it. Just make sure. Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Okay, so you have 5 business days to affirm your interest, right? So it is business days. If you, okay, I see. Sorry, I read this yesterday. I actually did this video yesterday, but I kind of messed it up in the end, so I'm redoing it. Because I didn't want to delay putting this information out. So you have 5 days, business days, from when you're contacted to confirm your interest. If they don't hear back from you, they could pretty much, in 5 days, they could just consider you rejected, and they would not be required to send any rejection notice. So guys, make sure, like seriously, make sure you're on top of this. If you've been truly waiting for this opportunity, you certainly do not want to miss out on this. So just make sure you're on top of stuff and you're doing what you need to do on your end. A lot of agencies, they're changing things up. They're doing like virtual tours, or they're sending you the documents to sign using DocuSign. So they're being very creative, just be able to accommodate applicants in the midst of everything that's going on. So I think I covered everything. I'm just referencing to make sure I didn't miss anything. But I think I pretty much covered what I need to cover. And this is an extra tip. See, like, let me tell you this. I really love you guys, and you know, even though a lot of you guys say, oh my God, you're helping me so much, like, you're also helping me, because, you know, I'm doing something that I truly love, and it's just a blessing for me to be able to pour into someone else just this information that I have knowledge about. So I'm just so grateful, and thank you for all your kind words. But back to what you really came here for. So let me give you some extra tips. I'm not saying everyone is doing this, but a lot of developers, they're offering concessions. Yes. So some developers, they're waiving security deposits. They're giving free months, because guess what, guys? They want you to move in. So the thing is this, right? With tax credit properties, that first year credit period, they want to close out. So they have units that they need to fill in order to meet their applicable fraction for that year and get all their tax credit. So a lot of times developers incentivize applicants to move in. Like, for a developer that I worked for in the past, I've seen as far as someone getting 6 months free because they need you to take possession of the unit. Not every developer, but I've worked for some really great developers, and I truly love what they stand for the most part. But yeah, so I've seen, the most I've seen was 6 months free rent. I'm telling you, some are offering like free amenities. As I said, some are waiving security deposit. So not before you're approved, wait till after you're approved. And like, you know, when they're scheduling the lease signing, again, not before you're approved. No, after you get that official approval in writing and they're reaching out to you to schedule a lease signing, you're just, well, by the way, I was just curious, to know if there's any concessions being offered. Because if someone say, oh well, I'm afraid to move in now because of pandemic or whatever, or what have you, developers are throwing stuff left and right. It may not be all, but it's worth a try. But it's just a tip, and they're not obligated to do this, and not every developer is doing this. So don't say the lady from YouTube told me that you guys are giving. Not every developer is doing this, just some. It's a pandemic, it's a crisis. A lot of people don't want to shell out money in crisis, so developers at times try to incentivize residents by doing stuff like that to get them to move in. So that's an insider tip. That's a benefit. See why you need to subscribe to the channel, because you get all these tips and benefits that the rest of the world don't know unless they stumble on this video. But let me see what else I need to tell you guys. The other thing I want to say, guys, and this is just in general, because honestly, it just, every time I read something and I'm so excited and getting ready to respond, and then when I get to the end, it's always this, oh, I'm so scared, or I'm so stressed out, or I'm this, and all this fear. Guys, I know, and I'm not only saying this because I know how the process works, but I'm also saying this as a human being, because remember, I too went through the process. But the difference between you and I didn't have anyone to tell me about what to expect or how to handle certain things, right? So I had no choice. But let me tell you this, guys. Do not approach this with fear. The bottom line that I want you to keep in mind is either 1, you're eligible, 2, you're ineligible, or 3, you're rejected, right? And an agent cannot reject you for a personal reason, like, oh, I don't like how she spoke to me, as long as it's not something, that warrants safety concern or discrimination or stuff like that. Like, someone can't just, oh, I don't like her, she's rejected. That cannot happen. And if you feel as though that ever happened, you need to file a fair housing complaint, right? There's laws in place, so don't feel like you're alone. I don't want you guys walking on eggshells going through this process, because 90% of the emails that I get, it's always that fear, this line of I'm so afraid, or something having to do with being fearful about the process. And that's not what it should be about. But let me give you the best tip that I can give you guys is, again, to read the HDC Marketing Handbook, because you will feel confident when you know what you're talking about. And I'm not telling you to show up in these interviews or speak to these specialists and try to tell them how to do their jobs. But what I'm telling you is to educate yourself, because the only way you can really be assertive and understand and know how to have a conversation and let them level up, because they see that you know what you're talking about, is if you educate yourself. Right? This is me simplifying and putting a human voice behind what's already written in the HDC Marketing Handbook. But the goal is that you have to read that, and you have to be able to, if they tell you something that something seems off, or the only way you will probably know if it's off is if you are familiar with the language. So that's why it's so imperative that you read it. So if someone tell you something that's like, that's not what the book said, you send them according to page 33 of the HDC Marketing Handbook, XYZ, or you snippet that reference and send it to them politely, of course, right? But you have to know the process in order to be able to do that. Prime example, a friend of mine, she's in the process and she was approved. I don't know why the specialist asked her, the leasing agent. I deal with compliance now, so I keep saying specialist instead of agent. But the leasing agent sent her an email saying, hey, the documents are only valid for 30 days, so you need to resend me everything. So this is a friend of mine, so she reached out to me, and I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense, So I responded to her. So I told her to send her back an email, because she was now asking her to send her everything. So I said, ask her why she needs the documents because they're not expired and they're still valid. So she sent her back a message saying, according the low income housing tax credit, say documents need to be resubmitted if it's beyond 30 days. And I laughed and I'm like, that is insane. The low income housing tax credit guideline does not say that documents need to be resubmitted in 30 days. It's actually 120 days. And I said, I understand that she may be concerned if there's changes in your income, but typically that is addressed by a reaffirmation of income document that you sign before you, that you sign while you're signing your lease, right? But and if your documents is really like if you applied a while ago, I could see them asking you for updated pay statement, but it should never be send me everything. So before, I know things are changing, so before I said, okay, that is not true, but let me check with my friend at the agency. So I immediately text my friend at the agency and I'm like, is there something that I'm not aware of? Because someone is saying, an agent is saying it's now 30 days. I didn't know it changed from 120. So she's like, come on, you know better. That is not true. And then we made an insider joke asking, where does this person work for? Because we know an agency that they are reckless. Some of these agencies are reckless. So that's why I want you guys to educate yourself. I mean, I know they're in a position that they should know, but I've seen some stuff. Been in this industry a while. I've seen some stuff. But anyway, not to like, try to belittle anyone or anything. But all I'm saying is know your stuff. So when they say something to you, you could pick sense out of nonsense. So anyway, I sent her the text conversation from my friend and she's laughing because she's like, yeah, that's exactly what you said. I'm like, yeah. So I wrote her a text message and say, hey, send her this. Say the low income housing tax credit guidelines say documents are good for 100 days, XYZ, XYZ. And I understand if you may need my information to see if anything changed. I'm willing to send you my 6 most recent pay statements and my most recent bank statements, but my photo ID and other documents that are not expired is not required. Like they are still valid. So I put a lot of them, together and said, send her that. So she responded and said, you can just send me your 6 pay statements. So I say all that to say this, like if she didn't have me, she would have sent her a whole, and you guys, if you guys are in the process, it could be a whole stack of documents. And then moreover, you'll have to get updated documents. So thankfully, she had me where I could easily tell her what to say and, address it at that point. But I say that to say this, a lot of times these agents just ask for stuff, right? And if you don't know any better, you're just gonna do as you say without thinking it through because you just want an apartment. So tell me whatever, I'm gonna just do it. But that's not the way it should be. And I'm not telling you to go question what your agents request. All I'm saying is reference the marketing handbook to see if what they're requesting is actually things that are needed. But if you are not sure, you should definitely not have extensive back and forth. But if something is obvious like a photo ID, like if I sent you my photo ID 30 days ago and that ID is still valid, I don't need to send you my ID again. It's the same ID. You know what I mean? So some small things like that, but if it relates to other matters that you are not sure about, do not go in a back and forth. Either you read or you do what they say, or you watch my videos to see if it's something that I already mentioned. And a great thing to do is always just send them references. Say, hey, and politely, make sure you word your email politely because you're not trying to look like you're telling them how to do their jobs. All right? So I think I covered everything, guys. And just know that I am here to support you. I'm here to answer any questions you may have. I know I've gotten paragraphs and paragraphs, but I've been so diligent to respond to those because I understand the amount of questions that comes with it. And I understand that, you may want as much clarification as possible. So that's all I got for today. See, I really love you guys because today I had a really rough day. But I say, you know what? I've been holding off on this video for too long. This is my third round of doing this, or second, something like that. But, you know, I want to help you in any way that I can. And just continue to watch the video. Subscribe to the channel, guys. That way, as soon as a video is posted, you could get that notification. And you don't have to be in the process right now to subscribe. You don't have to be going through this particular stage right now to subscribe. But whatever information, once you're applying for affordable housing or you plan to, you need to know how to tackle it. So educate yourself. You never know when you'll get that email or that letter in the mail, and you don't want that to be the time where you're scrambling trying to figure out how things work. So have the knowledge, already know a game plan. Take notes, guys. I take notes all the time. So if I mention any points that you need to jot down, write it down so you don't have to keep coming back to the video. So just make little bullet points for yourself so you could use that as a point of reference, because it will benefit you. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and hang in there. I know this is hard for a lot of us. I would not imagine this in 1,000 years, but this is life. Things happen, but just be safe, guys. And I trust that you guys are doing well, and I trust that you're adhering to the guidelines. Just do your part, guys. If everyone does a little, no one has to do a lot. Someone says, I can't remember who it is, but it's great, really. So everyone do a little, no one have to do a lot. All right, that's all I got for today. Subscribe to the channel, share this with a friend. As always, I'm here to support you. I want the best for you, and you are going to get an affordable housing. I believe it. Manifest it. Speak it in existence. I don't care if you've been in this process since 2015 and been on Housing Connect and didn't hear back anything. You will hear back. I believe that you will, and I want you to believe the same, and I want you to manifest it. Like, I am going to get a low-income housing apartment. I am going to get one that I love. I'm going to get that apartment on the 30th floor with that floor-to-ceiling window with those lovely amenities. I'm going to be in a building in a great neighborhood. I'm going to be in a doorman building. Just manifest it, guys. Manifest it, and you will see it happen. All right, guys. Peace out. I love you. Be safe. Subscribe, share, comment below. Email me affordablehousinghelp@gmail.com. Thank you guys for watching. Have a blessed day, and we'll talk soon again.